Things that I can show you within selection that I want to show you before moving on to the next set of the demos. And that is how to select inverse and to use that along with our adding to selection, and also how to erase pieces. So I'm going to go back into my polygonal selection, and I'm going to make sure that I'm in add to selection, because what I want to do is I'm going to select my corn and my radish this time, because what I want to do is then erase these pieces around it, but I'm going to show you how to select inverse and then again use the eraser. So I'm going to start off by selecting the things I want to keep safe, that I want to make sure that when I use my eraser tool that it can't enter the space that I've selected. So again, I'm in add to selection, so this time I'm just going to make a new selection around the radish and keep the old selection as well. So that's happy. So my corn and my radish are selected. Now I'm going to go down to one of the other tools, which is the eraser tool. It's about half the way down. You can see here, eraser tool. So I'm going to click on my eraser. Now up at the top we have our settings for our eraser. So I want to make sure your opacity is up all the way. And when you click on this little guy here, it says 15. So what that's saying is that my eraser is 15 pixels. It's the tiny little thing you see moving around in the corner. So in this case, if I click on the little down arrow, remember those arrows always open up other menu items, I can change the size. So I want to make that a bit bigger. If I bring my cursor over into the canvas, I can kind of see it live, because I want to go ahead and I'm going to be erasing kind of large things. So make it like, yeah, maybe 100. 100's happy. Again, I can make it fuzzy or I can make it hard, a hard eraser. I'll show you what that means. Hard eraser, I'm going to just go in here and erase. You can see like the edge is quite crisp. I'm going to edit undo. If I make it fuzzy, when I go through, you see that the edge here is feathered. I'm going to edit undo. Now, I think hopefully when you see me do that, you understand that as I'm going through here, it's only erasing what is in my bounding box. Now that's the opposite of what I want it to do right now. I want it to protect the corn and to protect the radish here, and I want to erase these other pieces. So I'm going to go up to filter. I'm going to go up to select, which is next to filter. And I want to select inverse. So what that has done is now, as you see, I'm erasing where the corn is, and I can't, because it has made the selection everything but what I started off with. But I can erase that piece here. Now I got to be careful of my pumpkin there, but if I am, that's kind of off to one side, so I don't really have to worry about it too much. But I can go ahead and just erase that other ear corn. I can erase this pickle, and I can erase this leaf. So you can see that I can erase all that, which is great. Now, I do also want to note one thing, that the edge of your bounding box that you've selected is always the edge of your canvas. So for the sake of argument, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to erase this pumpkin, even though I want to use it later. So I'm going ahead, I'm erasing, and again, remember, you can't erase anything that isn't in this bounding box. Okay, great, I'm done. So I'm going to go to my marquee tool, and I'm going to deselect, so everything's deselected, and now I'm going to move this, because I don't want, this isn't where I want to place these guys in the end. So if I move it, boop, there's part of my pumpkin. So I just want to show you and remind you that the reason that this didn't erase is because it was outside of the canvas as I was working. And so when I had that selection, the selection ended at the end of my canvas. So sometimes you go through and you think you've deleted everything, but in fact you've left pieces off of the canvas. And when you go to move it, that layer, it still keeps the data there. So just remember that if you're ever kind of wondering where these little pieces come from, you're always kind of working within the canvas, but Photoshop will keep data for the layer existing outside of the canvas area you can see if it existed when you pulled it in.